talk about the couple who fall in love with each other but facing some problem cause of status in society. This happened in Sumba, where Rambu's parents didn't allow Rambu to marry umbu. The problem getting bigger when Rambu can handle her feeling toward umbu. She preferred to against her parents and those people on that village. First, let me introduce all the cast and the characters in that story. Mercy as Rambu Kahi. Yahya as umbu Ndilu. Priska as mother of Rambu. Esa as the father of Rambu. Susan as customer leader. I'm myself. Okay, let's start with the story. One day, in the village of Kadumbu lived a very beautiful girl named Rambu Kahi. Her beauty was famous to all corners of Sumba. So many men and kings intended to propose to her to be their wife. Rambu Kahi is not only has a beautiful face, but also has beautiful heart. Despite being forced by her parents to marry one of the kings or wealthy young men, she remained unscathed. But as a girl growing up, Rambu Kahi is still a girl who can fall in love. Secretly, she falls in love with an ordinary young man who lives in the same village as her. Starting with a meeting in the corner of the village while looking for firewood, and at the time she was overwhelmed to hold up the dry wood she had collected. And unwittingly, a man came to her. Part 1. In the forest.
Sorry, Eri, may I help you?
I needed umbu. Someone will watch here about it.
It's okay, Eri.
Yes, thank you. Shyly, Rambu Kahi finally accepted the offer from the young man. With the pace of strapping, the young man held the dry wood to Rambu Kahi's house. Part 2 at Rambu's house in the yard. Since the incident, they both often meet. Sometimes she accompanied umbu Ndilu, who was supporting, or umbu Ndilu accompanied her in search of firewood in the forest. As days went by, they became closer and more friendly. This love line was known by Rambu Kahi's parents and reminded her that umbu Ndilu only came from ordinary Kebihu, in contrast to the young men from the Nabas and Marambas. Rambu, Rambu. Yes, Mom. Please come here. Rambu, I saw a few days you and umbu Ndilu are getting more closer. Are both of you have something special?
Honestly, we are held in a special relationship.
What? Are you serious? How can?
Yes, Dad, I'm very serious.
Didn't you know we are different from him? We have different status. You can marry or be in relationship with him. Not it, Rambu.
Yes, Rambu, you can. Before it's going so far, to end it right now. Hearing about her parents protested, she get up and walk away. Because of that incident, every day her parents always talk about this and make Rambu feel uncomfortable. If love acts, then logic becomes false. Therefore, one day, she invited umbu Ndilu to escape from the village.
Mom and Dad just getting angry all the time.
It's not wrong, Eri. Those who want to propose to you come from wealthy and respected communities. We can only be patient.
situation. I cannot stay here anymore. Oh, there is another woman in your heart.
It doesn't mean like that, Eri. I just don't want Eri's relationship with Eri's family to be right just because of me.
Okay, then just let me live by myself.
What do you mean, Eri?
I mean, you're the same with them. You don't understand the woman's feeling.
Okay, then we both left this village. Let's just go to Ndilu. I have an uncle who lives there. Right? At midnight we will go. I'm waiting for you at the corner of the village where we usually meet.
Okay, thank you, Umbu, for your understanding.
Umbu took out a pair of mamuli from the seed and an anahita. Then he handed over the pair of mamuli and put on anahita around the neck of rambu kahi as a form of love.
Eri, there are two mamali, one of which is Eri left on the bed, and the other is Eri brought forgot in the tree.
Right at midnight, in the corner of the village, Ndilu with a raised horse had been waiting for the arrival of rambu kahi. But the woman he was waiting for did not come until dawn. There was a sound of rambu kahi. Part 3 on the way to Ndilu.
Umbu, hurry up!
Far from a distance, he can see rambu kahi running toward him, but rambu kahi's 200 gesture gives a message to keep him away. Ndilu still doesn't care. He still goes to meet rambu kahi, but when he approached the girl, a group of young men had drawn swords to block him. Ndilu did not want to be outdone by pulling out the sword to the young men. Part 4 in rambu kahi's village. A few days after the incident, rich young men and several kings who really want to marry rambu kahi came to the village to attend the village court about an incident that was considered outrageous. An elder was appointed to conduct trials against Umbu, Ndilu, and rambu kahi. After going through a long process and discussing with rambu kahi's parents, the elder finally decided.
Rambu, come here.
With this, I, as the judge of this customary court, have decided to sanction Umbu Ndilu to being dumped into the forbidden forest in Hahar area on the Table Mountain. And for rambu kahi, in 3 days, you must have to choose which one of the men who will you marry. This decision clearly made rambu kahi dumbfounded and then struggled to try to break free from the bonds that held her to hands.
I only want to marry Umbu.
No, Rambu. You must follow the discard decision. But different from Ndilu, he just bowed sluggishly, could not say anything. For him, this was the destiny of God, which he had to live sincerely.
No, I just want to marry Umbu.
No, Rambu. Whatever the decision that we have made, you just have to follow it.
No, for the sake of the land that I step on, for the winter that cleans my body, for the sky that becomes of my roof, and with the light that ancestors support. If I do not marry Ndilu, I swear I will die with light that strikes.
Suddenly, the sky turned very hot. The whole village was terrified by a very loud roar, but not the noise. No, Rambu. You just have to marry him. You just have to follow this court decision. Rambu kahi fell down while rolling over her body.
Some of young men immediately approached, wanting to lift her body, but Umbu Ndilu prevented them. But whatever the power of Umbu Ndilu, he was only one, and his hands were tied. With one or two moves he fit. The young man eventually carried him out of the court. Rambu Kahi only showed Umbu Ndilu a gaze full of deep sadness. Her tears had poured down her face, which had been covered with dirt. Finally, that day when it was almost night, Umbu Ndilu was taken to Forbidden Forest and thrown into it. Without any lightning, Umbu Ndilu walked along the Forbidden Forest. Different for Rambu Kahi, 3 days after the customary court, she was paraded right in the middle of the village, witnessed by the village elders. Her parents were not left behind. Men who want to propose to her with men's faces as if they want to eat Rambu Kahi with wild eyes.
With all this power that has given to me, I, as an elder and the judge of this court, require Rambu Kahi to elect her husband today. Rambu, choose which one of them who will you marry, who will become your husband.
The man immediately smiled. He daily smiled at the girl they liked. But different from Rambu Kahi, his teenage girl in just a few days, some of her beauty disappeared. Her eyes are blank, she only sounds faint, she hiccups while saying the name Umbu Ndilu occasionally. While far away in the Forbidden Forest, the man who is called his name is lamenting his girl who is getting married to another man. After a long wait, Rambu Kahi had yet to make a decision, and the village elder, who was the judge, became increasingly impatient.
Rambu, can't you hear me? I ask you choose one of them who will become your husband. Quickly choose. Rambu! Rambu! I ask you.
All right, then you stood, who are white ears and as white as heart. Here your question is prayer. Let me make peace from this earth, because I know how to love with a full purity and sincerity. All the love that I have just for only Umbu Ndilu. So with that love, is sincerity just only for Umbu Ndilu. So with this, I ask a Lord of the universe, protector, and with a tester, I ask her with my poor heart, I want to disappear from this earth. After saying a chant prayer, Rambu Kahi also picked her hand 3 times to the ground. And at once the wind blew hard, a great roar from the sky sounded a reply. All the villagers started to get scared. Her parents tried to approach her, but like there was another force holding them back. Suddenly, the Rambu Kahi screaming loudly. For you, my Lord, for you, Lord universe, I want to disappear from this world.
The atmosphere was getting more terrified and mystical. Suddenly, a sound like a junga accompanied the screams of Rambu Kahi, and in an instant, the great lightning grabbed Rambu Kahi, and her body shattered into pieces. Her body fragments broke everywhere. But the villagers were terrified with fear. The mysterious incident was like crazy. because from the pieces of Rambu Kahi's body which were scattered, they gave off a pregnant aroma. Suddenly, the villagers in the moon, Mary and Mukai, found each other for Rambu Kahi's body. Then they went away, leaving her parents, who were crying over her disappear. It turned out that the mystical events did not stop there. When the day before evening, the pieces of Rambu Kahi's body turned into dry brown leaves and scented aromas, which we now call tobacco. It is different with umbu Ndilu. Finally, made a lump in his heart about his unreachable love story. Slowly, he began to cry for Rambu Kahi without stopping. Day after day, month after month, the crying didn't stop. Finally, his crying became a big river flow, and umbu Ndilu was petrified because of his silence for a year, but no with his crying. It went on and on, but the flow of the big river never arrived into the ocean, but into the large hole into the earth, which today we often call Table Mountain Waterfall.